Hey YouTube, at long last we're going to do a body kit installation on my Mustang, but first let's jump in the Audi and let's go pick it up. Oh, it's the first time I've drove this car on the motorway since I removed the rear silencers, and it's a bit drony. Oh well, I have to do something about that later on. But anyway, so yeah, I've been to a lot of the Mustang shows and I've seen cars there with body kits on. And I thought, you know what, I really want to do that to mine, but I couldn't decide which kit to get. And then at one of the shows, I saw the kit that I wanted. Yes, it was the Maxton Design kit. So I'll show you what I bought later on in the video, and also we'll get it fitted as well in this video. Drop me a comment below on what body kit you've got on your Mustang. So stay tuned, because later on this video, I'm going to be fitting this kit in my garage with the tools that I have got, just to show you that things like this can be done by you guys out there. That's one of the purposes of this channel, is to encourage you guys to get out there and do this yourself. So I've been waiting about 8 weeks for this kit now, because Maxton Design, they do these kits to order, so they don't always have them on the shelf. And it's now just come in. It's just after the new year, and I've been waiting for it for a long time. So let's get across to Leeds, go to Maxton Design, get that kit in the back of this car, and let's get it home. Maxton Design, let's go inside and get my body kit. The kit's in the back, so let's get home, let's get this fitted. So as we're passing Doncaster, I thought I might as well pop into Automotive Finesse and go see my mate Rudy, see what projects they've got going on at the moment. Here we are, Automotive Finesse. Let's go inside and see if we've got anything good going on. So as soon as I walk in here, there's a Ferrari 488 just waiting to be fully detailed and paid for. Wow, what a place. So I'm back home now. I always love my visits to Automotive Finesse. You always have some fantastic projects on the go there. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. So we're going to get the Mustang out the garage, and then we'll get these parts in there and I'll show you what I bought. That's all unpacked and laid out on the garage floor. Let me take you through what I bought. So starting at the front, we've got the Street Pro front splitter version 2 from Maxton. Then we have the Street Pro side skirt diffusers. Then we have the Street Pro rear diffuser. And to finish it off, we've got the Street Pro rear side diffusers and flaps. Can't wait to start fitting that kit, but let's get the car back in the garage. But actually, I can't put it back in like that, it's absolutely filthy. So let's give it a quick clean first. So now we've got her all clean and she's in the garage. It's now time to jack her up and put her on the axle stands so that we can work on this front end. So to fit the front splitter, what we have to do here, we need to remove the actual front bumper, which is a bit of a pain. But first of all, we'll take the radiator top cover off here. So that's just a matter of popping all these little clips out, and then that should just come off. That's 8 of those little plastic retaining clips that you need to get out. Make sure you secure them somewhere so you don't lose them. And next we take the front wheels off, because that then gives us access under here to get to cut the bolts to release the bumper. So next from the top is to remove these 8mm bolts here, and there's these really tiny ones here, which I think are about 5.5 or something, but I've got a 7/32 non-metric socket that'll work on them, so let's get those off. A bit of information for you, those who were thinking of changing your front pony and are told, I think on the pre-facelift you could just take this panel off here and get your hand down to release it. If you look in the facelift, you can't. There's loads of plastic and all sorts of stuff in here, so you can't get past it. So yeah, that ain't gonna work. You're gonna have to take the whole bumper off if you want to actually replace the pony correctly. So now the top half is all loose, let's go on to the side and in the wheel arch and release the couple of bolts that are in there. Pull back the wheel arch, we're going to need to get that out, that one out, and possibly that one. Might just start with these 3, just see if I can pull it back to get access to the 2. I need to get under this part here, where the join to the wing and the front bumper. So just in there is the actual 2 nuts that I need to get to. So let's take these off and see what we've got. I decided so I didn't damage it. There's another one there, there's another one there, and there's one just up at the top of the arch there, and then it's a lot more flexible and comes out a lot easier to get access. Let me get the light right and I'll show you those nuts. There we go, so these are the 2 nuts that we need to get, and we need to get this little connecting bracket out, and then that will release the bumper connection to the wing. The side's exactly the same, so I'll just do that off camera, and then we'll go underneath to release any bolts that are holding it on at the bottom, and there's a few. So checking underneath, what I've found is there is 15 of these 7mm bolts under here. There's loads of them. Okay, a few in the middle there, there's some at the back, everywhere. Oh well, let's just get cracking and get them all off. So I was wrong, there isn't 15, there's 19, and there's also 2 of these plastic things as well. So yeah, but as you see, this has now come off. So now we should be able to remove the front bumper and get it on the stand so we can do some work on it. Slight change of plan. I've had to put this piece back on the under tray because when you put the Maxton splitter on, it actually covers over these bolts at this side and the other side, and when you drill the holes to mount it, it's going to have to go through this lip and also the under tray. It's going to have to go through both, so therefore this needs to be on to actually put the splitter on. Front splitter initially fitted with the clamps, one there and one on that side just to hold it in place, and I've checked and it looks pretty good. So what I've got to do now, I've got to get a 6mm drill and go through all of these holes here. What I think I'll do is I'll get a drill there and put a bolt in, and I'll get a drill there and put a bolt in. That should hold it in place for me to then do all the others without slipping off the clamps. I've also got the first bolt in both sides there and there, so I can remove the clamps now. So it should now be just a matter of going through and doing all the rest of the holes. So I've been having a good think about this, and if I put the bolts through here, which goes through this thing as well as the original splitter at the bottom, you'll never be able to get this thing off on its own if you need to just get access underneath. So I think I'm going to change it slightly. So what I've done, I've drilled through all of the holes here and made a hole in this. I'm going to take this off and I'm going to cut out where that hole is so that the nuts for these can just go through, and this can still be fitted with the new splitter in place. And what I'm going to do here is, instead of putting these nuts to go right through the splitter and the under tray, this under tray was held on by 2 screws which had some big holes. So I'm going to mark the holes on the back of this splitter, and I'm going to cut out the 2 big holes here and use the original screws to hold that on, as well as this splitter. That didn't make a lot of sense. I'll show you the under tray when I've modified it, and I'll show you the splitter when I modified that as well. So let me show you what I've done here. So I've cut that out there, you see, and there and there. So I've cut those out so that the nut will be there. That'll go around the nut, it won't get in the way. To do a big cut out on that, 'cause it needs to go straight down. And then what I've done on the actual original panel, I've cut through there and there with a hole to capture the one behind it in the original splitter, which means I can use these on the actual underpan still and put the bolt straight through my new splitter, the original, and into this one, and that should all hold it nicely. So there it is fitted, and I've fitted the under tray on while the bumper's off. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but I'm hoping I can still get a bumper back on with that fitted. I've had to use 2 different type of screws here to actually connect into the under tray, because the ones that were there weren't long enough, so I've changed those. The splitter is now being bolted on all the way along, and of course it's now being captured by these as well, which are capturing this as well, and then all the other screws are being put in to the under tray. So now let's see if I can get this back on with the under tray fitted. So successfully back on, so now we just need to get in there and replace the remaining bolts that was holding the under tray on. And then replace all the bolts along the front edge of the bumper. And then replace the radiator top cover. And that's it under here. So now we need to go under the wings and put those little brackets, those 2 nuts back in. So that's it, bumper fully fitted back to the car. So let's get the wheels back on, get it off these axle stands, pull it forward, and I can start working on the back.
A few moments later.
Wheels back on, car shifted forward. Let's go check out this rear diffuser. So I'm thinking this one might be quite easy to fit, because it looks like it basically goes on over the original diffuser like so, and it lands up nicely, and then it looks like all we need to do is put a bolt in there from each side and one in there from each side, because these have got sticky on to stick to the original diffuser, and once you put the bolts in the middle here, then these extra parts go on there and they also stick and also bolt to this. So let's get the 6mm drill and get these drilled out. So I've got it in position now. I've put a couple of my little clamps just underneath just to hold it in the same place. So I'm going to get the drill. I'm going to drill 1 hole there, 2 in the middle, and 1 at this side. I just had to jack the car up a little bit, because when I tried to get my drill in, I couldn't get it in. So rather than struggle or drill at an angle, I've jacked the car up, and now I can get straight in with the drill and get a proper hole. Now I'll put the nut and bolt in these before I drill the middle ones, then it'll keep it nice and square for me. Now there is sticky parts on these fins here, but I'm not going to do those yet, because I'm going to look at probably getting this painted, so therefore I don't want to stick those down. I want to keep the sticky pads when I get it back from paint. In fact, I'm going to remove this now and take all the plastic coating off, because there's quite a bit of it. Okay, to get the plastic protection off these, you need to undo the bolt at the end there and remove the fins, because the plastic is trapped in between this bit here. So yeah, just a matter of taking those 4 off, pulling the plastic off, so it's now completely clear of plastic. So let's get these bolts in here. Now I'm not sure you get a washer on the back of that. Now I would expect this hole should have been just a little bit further in, then we could have got the washer in. No, you can't get a washer in there now. Okay, that's not in place. So this is a an 8mm, so I've got an 8mm spanner and an 8mm driver. So now those are in, it's time to drill these 2 holes here, and I've just felt up there there's nothing in the way, so there's no wires or anything, so that should be fine. They should be able to drill straight through. And for these ones, because there's a fin to go over top, you have to use the countersunk bolts, and it's going to be a bit of a stretch to get my arm in there and get the washer and the nut on, but let's see, we should be able to do it. Again, there's no chance of getting a washer on there, so these holes, if they're moved slightly over to the side, there's plenty of room there, you can get these in. Okay, so they're nigh on impossible to get in. There's plastic in the way, there's things sticking up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drill a hole here and a hole here, and then put 2 of the same bolts as them just there, because there's plenty more room and you can easily get a spanner and everything on there. Okay, so I'm now just using the normal bolts that we got with item spares from the front. So I'm just going to use them now. I should hopefully be able to get these in with a washer on the back. Now that is 10 times easier than using the ones that they supply. So yeah, definitely do that. That's well solid now. So now we just need to put these other fins on. Get all the plastics off that, so that slides on there. And that's it, that's the rear diffuser now fitted. On to the next bit. So next it's on to the rear side splitters, and I've got these here. So you can just have this splitter on its own, which is just gonna fit on there like that. Or you can decide to have these side flaps, which are gonna fit there. So I thought, yeah, you gotta have them, haven't you? So I bought mine with the side flaps. So the first stage will be to fit this to the car, because once it's on the car, you can then fit this flap and you can kind of adjust it to in and out how you want it. And you've got these shorter bolts here with the great big washers, so the washer will go around there and hold this in place. So I think we can ignore the flat part of it for now, and we can just fit this part to the car to start with. Okay, so I've put this on to start with, just to get it lined up with my trusty clamps underneath. And I think to start with the back, you've got this bit here, so really you need to line that up with that bit there. Okay, so because that hole is going to go through and it's going to capture the back end of this. Once you've lined that piece up there, then really you just need to get this running down here about the same distance. Now I've got some black little sticky things that can cover those, so I'm not too worried about those. They won't show through when I put little black caps on them. And the last part is to get this lined up with the actual end of your wheel arch. So I think once you've got those like that, then it's just a matter of put the light down, of drilling the holes that need to be drilled through here, and then usual thing, try and get the nuts in. This one's going to be hard because it's right behind. It's going to be hard getting your hand in to get that on, but we'll see. And the fitting kits for these just come with a really long bolts, so that's obviously the one to go through that block at the end. So let's get the drill, get these holes drilled. So I'm going to leave this one for now because it's going to be a pain to get to, but it's all going to have to come off anyway to be painted, so we'll probably do that after we've done the painting. So now let's fit the flap on this. So now we need to line this flap up from the outer edge as how we want it. I think I'm going to have mine like that. Happy with that? Let's go underneath and tighten up the bolts. So that's that one now done. So I'll go do the other side. I won't do it on camera because it's just the same as this one.
20 minutes later.
And now on to the next bit, installing the side skirts. So first stage is I've got a couple of extra axle stands that I've got in the back there, and I've used it just to hold up the side skirt in the position which I am happy, sagging in the middle, but that's alright, I'll get bolted up. So basically it's in the position that I am happy for it to be in. So I'm going to go do the other side, which means jacking the car up, getting the axle stands out, taking them to the... I won't bore you with all that anyway, I'll just do that. I'll get back to you after the other side's done.
A few moments later.
And that's it, all done. Let me get the car outside, show you what it looks like. So there you go, thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy this video, why not watch this one?